Hi everyone. Good morning to all you guys. My name is Alvaro Mocholi. I'm responsible for international sales and also the general manager of Grecom Technologies. And I'm going to be the person that is going to be conducting today's webinar. Okay, just to let you know, today's webinar is going to be recorded. So we will be able to share it with you guys on the upcoming days. Okay. Okay, so let's start. Today we're gonna be talking about all the different analytics and artificial intelligence solutions that we have for the port sector. Before we move on, I would like to do a very brief introduction of our company. Okay, Grecom Technologies is a company that was founded in 2005. It's specialized in developing and marketing real-time image analytics. We are very specialized on thermal imaging cameras. That is our biggest area of expertise, although we also have solutions for day and night cameras. Currently, we have over 30 different analytics developed. I will later on will be talking to you. I will do a very brief introduction of all our portfolio of solutions. We export to 64 countries. Our main markets are the Middle East, North and South America, Southern Europe, and Asia Pacific is becoming one of the emerging areas lately. Excuse me. We have the full chain of value. I mean, that means that we have our own R&D department. So that means that not only we develop our own solutions, but we also can customize or adapt our solutions to the project demands. Okay, especially big projects. This is, as you know, sometimes you have to adapt to existing protocols. So our R&D department also allow us to customize the solution for this type of projects or for this type of demands. Also, we have an integration department which is responsible for making sure that our solutions can communicate and can work with existing third-party VMSs or new cameras coming up on the market, new platforms or access control platforms, digital input and output models, and so on. And then we have the pre-sales department, which is responsible for making sure that the system works correctly. There's no security holes. The cameras are correctly displayed, the connectivity, the bandwidth is correctly calculated, and so on. And then we have the after sales or the maintenance, which is responsible for solving any incident or any problem that might show up with the analytics. Now I'm gonna give you a very brief introduction of our portfolio, solutions portfolio. Okay, so we have perimeter surveillance. We have plenty of solutions here. We have solutions for thermal imaging cameras, solutions for day and night cameras, and work with fixed cameras or PTC cameras. Okay, and also can work server-based or embedded into the camera. Then we have the marine surveillance, which also can work with PTC or fixed cameras. Here, we just only work with thermal imaging cameras, which are the most, let's call it, stable for this kind of a scenario. Also, we have VMS. We have two types of VMSs. We have a traditional VMS, which is basically records 24/7 and also manages all the events or all the alarms that the analytics are generating. And on the other side, we have the VMS with artificial intelligence, which later on I will explain you more in detail what are the advantages versus the traditional VMS. Also, we have cybersecurity. Here we are very specialized on data loss prevention. Okay, so it's not kind of like a well, it is cybersecurity, but basically what we do is we just manage we control all the workstations on the company and make sure that all of them, they follow the IT policy and then put in jeopardy all the data from the company. Okay. We have facial recognition, so we have access control, criminal identification, demographic analysis, loyalty programs, VIP, people counting, and so on. Then on the automation and safety, that is where we have more solutions, which today we will be talking about a few of them. But for example, the personal protective equipment monitor, we have here the solution, the flame monitoring for the oil and gas, which is just to monitor the flames on the oil fields. Tank monitor to monitor the levels and the insulation aging on the tanks. Transformer or power substation monitoring, just to monitor all the key components on substations. A leak detector to detect the gas leakages or liquid leakages. So we have multiple solutions here. And then on the fire prevention, we have two solutions. We can work on the industrial scenario. We use the solution 10 threshold, and on forest we use the Watchman. Okay. And then finally we have the retail analytics, which is just to monitor the people that come into the shops, how many people buy, what is the conversion rate, how many people pass by the door, heat maps, demographic analysis, and so on. Okay, so this will be all the areas that we currently can cover. Okay, and then let's start with today's webinar. We're going to divide the presentation in two different areas. One is going to be the security, and the other one is going to be safety. Okay, so let's start with the security. The first solution that we would like to talk to you, or we would like to introduce you, is the VMS with artificial intelligence. This is a VMS that has been certified by the ISO 27001, and then also was the Red Dot winner of the as the smartest solution out of this contest. Okay. Okay, so before, just to explain you what is the difference between a VMS, traditional VMS, and a VMS with artificial intelligence. A VMS, a traditional VMS, basically what it does is records 24/7, and then also what it does is generates a database of all the different analytics that are connected to that VMS. So the employees or the staff which is supervising can manage all those different events. Okay. VMS with artificial intelligence, in contrast, what it does is, as you are recording, it is auto classifying the objects that is recording, and then also what it does is it automatically generates this database. Okay. So from the forensic point of view, if you want to do forensic search, or you want to do for search for a specific person, a specific vehicle, or a specific alarm, it is much simple to access to that information. So, for example, whenever you detect a human, I mean, the VMS with artificial intelligence automatically is going to classify it as a human. Secondly, what it's going to do is it's going to classify if it's man or woman or male. Okay, and then also will record the face, so you can identify, or you can search by face recognition, the color of the clothing and the type of clothing. Okay, in case that there is a vehicle, it's going to record the license plate number, the color of the vehicle, the type of vehicle, and also the model of the vehicle. So whenever you want to do a forensic search, basically what you need to do is you just need to enter whatever you're looking for, and then automatically the VMS is going to download all the videos or all the images that match your search criteria. So it's much more cost effective in a way that you don't have to be searching through hours and hours of videos. Okay, because I mean the video is automatically regardless what camera has catch up that person. Always, as long as that camera is connected to the VMS, it's going to bring it out to you. So it's going to be much simple to do forensic search. Also, it's very important to know that this VMS, besides having the video management license, also on the price includes perimeter surveillance, license plate recognition, face recognition, and sound analytics. So on the same license price, you have video management, perimeter surveillance, face recognition, license plate recognition, and sound analytics. Okay, so it's kind of like a bundle package. So it makes it most very cost effective compared to similar solutions on the market. Okay. Also, what you can do is you can do You can position the people on the map. I will show you later on a video, so you can track it down the people within the premises or within the facility. Also, you have the access control, so you can do people counting, you can do heat maps. So it is a very complete solution, okay, and it's very cost effective. Okay, this is the architecture. You can either go with our own cameras. The key benefit of using our own cameras is that the analytics and the recording is embedded into the camera. As for recording, you can have 30, 60, 90, or 120 days. So all that is embedded into the camera. So you will not need any servers, so you can connect directly through the cloud. If the facility is not critical, not very critical, and cloud connection is allowed, that will be a very cost-effective solution. Now, if we go to a critical infrastructure or to a project where the cameras are already deployed, we can also go to those projects, but we will need to deploy or to install what we call it the cloud connector. Basically, this is a server where the analytics and the recording is being hosted. And then in order to access to the cameras in real time, you can either do it through any device that is connected to the same network or through the cloud. Okay, so it's up to you. And then also, in case that you're using our own cameras and you don't want to use the cloud connector, you can also use you don't want to use the cloud, you can also use the cloud connector. Okay, but on the cameras, as I said before, the key benefit is that you can have the analytics running embedded, but in case that you want the analytics running on server, you can also order the cameras without the capacity to manage the analytics and the recording embedded. So this also can be a more cost-effective solution. Here I'm going to show you a video how the search tool works.
Welcome to AvaWare. Today we're going to cover search. Search is a tool that allows us to search for specific events that may have occurred across one or multiple cameras. This allows us to search for things like the appearance of a person or a vehicle, a line cross event where a vehicle or a person has crossed a specific virtual line that we've drawn, loitering events where a person or a vehicle may have been stationary for too long in one place, indicating something like an idling vehicle that may be outside of a loading dock or outside of an airport, or a person that may just be acting suspiciously in an area that they should not be. We can also alert on sound detection, and this leverages the onboard sound detection in our AvaWare cameras that can detect things like glass breaks, loud noises, smoke alarms, and many more audio models that are being added with each release. So, for example, if we were to create a line cross search, what we can do is we can choose what kind of objects we want to search for. We can stick with any or go down to a specific person. This person can be specified based on gender or based on the attire that they're wearing in the top or the lower quadrant of their body, and you can combine both colors as well, looking for people in uniforms or based on a description that was given by a third party. We can also leverage an image. If someone has captured a cell phone image of this person or vehicle, we can upload that in order to do a search based on these detections. Then we can choose where we want to do this detection. So this detection can take place, for example, on a camera in a parking lot. It could also happen inside of a building. So if we were looking for people that may have been in front of a register, we can choose one or multiple cameras and then choose the line that we want these objects to be crossing in order to qualify for the detection. We can choose the direction of travel of this object. And in the case of something like a convenience store, if we're just looking for anyone that is walking out, as this person just did in this example, we can unclick the entering direction so that we're only looking for the direction of travel out the door. And then we can choose the time period that we're searching for. This can be anywhere from specific minutes down to a block of time that may be days or hours. And in our case, when we're just looking for the last 30 minutes worth of search, we're presented with all of the events that correspond to our search criteria. So in our case, we're looking for people that are exiting. And if I highlight over that video, we're going to see the people that are exiting. I can click into this video to see it in greater detail. This will allow me to see not only the event that occurred, but the object within our floor plan as that user exits this building. I can then click to act on that activity. But we can also see in our parking lot as a person was crossing that virtual line that we created. So this allows us to very quickly get to the events that matter to us and then act on them. These different video clips that we have captured here can then be exported. So we can take the relevant information by clicking the plus, and we can choose to share or save. So we can export this as an MP4. We can share this as a publicly accessible link. We can bookmark it so that these video clips do not get deleted by typical retention. And of course, we can also do similarity searches if we want to look for people that are similar to the objects that have been detected in these environments. Now, you're also presented with the ability to create a rule. We have a whole nother section dedicated to creating rules based off of searches as well as other parameters. I implore you to check that out.
Okay, we're gonna move now to the next solution. The next solution is gonna be the face recognition. This is a solution that we can guarantee a 99.87% of accuracy without face mask, and then 98.6% of accuracy with face masks. We have our own API, so in case that we want to use this solution and work in standalone, and then also we have our own SDK. So this solution, in case that we need to integrate it with a third party, can also be done. I mean, we are integrated with all the main VMSs such as Milestone Genetec, Axis Camera Station, Pelco, Avigilon, and so on. Okay, it is compatible with all the operating systems, with Windows, with Mac, Linux, Android, and iOS. Follows all the privacy policies. Okay, and it's also certified by the NIST. Okay, so here is a, excuse me, this is a the results of the test of the certification by NIST. And as you can see, we are the solution that requires less processing capacity from out of all the solutions that were tested. And then also is one of the fastest on detection. And then from the accuracy point of view, in order to be certified by the NIST, you need to follow a margin of error less than 0.0285. And in our case, we achieve 0.0027. So it's more accurate than what they demand. Okay, here the solution that we are proposing is this is for the access control. This is kind of like a very small device. It's about 11 centimeters by 11 centimeters. Can support a database of up to 20,000 people. It's very fast, solution because I mean basically in a minute you can grant access between 30 to 40 people. Okay, and then can also work indoors or outdoors. Okay, has this device has an infrared lighting, has also a 3D camera, a speaker, and a microphone, so you can also communicate or you can talk through it. It is compatible with all the main access control platforms with OSDP and WIGAN. Also can detect tailgating, can work on adverse lighting conditions, and then also can detect anti-spoofing. Anti-spoofing means when someone is trying to supplant the identity of a person with a picture, with a video, with a recording. Basically here, the 3D camera is going to be able to distinguish between a real face and a non-real face. So in case that someone is trying to supplant identity, we will be able to identify it. Okay. Here I'm going to show you a video on how this solution works.
Introducing SaferScan, the first full-featured intelligent
as you can
biometric
see,
access control edge solution priced for broad-based applications.
whenever you're detecting,
SaferScan is fast and
automatically
touchless to expedite safe pedestrian traffic. And SaferScan works as well in outdoor locations as it does inside,
as you
even
can
in
see, there is a
challenging
green
lighting
square.
conditions.
So whenever
SaferScan's
the
advanced
person is authorized
algorithms
to
and
come into
3D
the facility, you
liveness
will
ensure
come out
accurate
with a green
identification
square.
and authorized
And then
access,
whenever the person
while
is not
unknown
authorized, this
individuals will
green
be
will turn
rejected,
into
and
red.
real-time alerts are
Okay.
automatically issued if tailgating is detected. Management reports capture every entry for audit and compliance reviews.
It's very fast, as
A
you can see. You don't need to
self-contained
stop by.
PoE
So
solution,
you just like passing by.
SaferScan is also
It
fast
should be
and
enough.
easy to install. Plus, SaferScan works
Also
with
can
leading
work on
access
adverse
control
lighting
platforms.
conditions.
High-performance biometric access control made affordable.
And then here, for example, is an example of tailgating. So the person
Only
behind
with
is not
SaferScan.
authorized. So automatically it will turn into red, and then it will be recorded into the interface. So you will see how the people that was not authorized that came in. Okay, and here, for example, is very simple to set it up. I mean, just with the UTP cable or a PoE connection, it should be enough. Okay, now we're gonna move to the next solution, to the perimeter surveillance. On the perimeter surveillance, I mean, we have two solutions. One with a very long range detection range, which is called the Sentinel, and then we have another one which is much more accurate, but is for a shorter detection range, which we call it the perimeter lookout with artificial intelligence. Okay. So for very large perimeters, imagine that you are in a port that the perimeter is very long. We recommend to use with the outside perimeter with the Sentinel, simply because it's a solution that is very long detection range. So you can save the number of cameras, you can save civil works, cabling, server infrastructure or structure or architecture. So it's much more cost effective. The inconvenience that it has is that when you deal in or when you work in such a long range, the solution is not as smart as the artificial intelligence one. Basically, you cannot auto-classify the objects at 500 meters away because simply the object and the size of the object is not big enough for the system to be able to identify and to classify. So the key advantage is very cost effective. The key disadvantage is not so smart as for example, artificial intelligence. When you're dealing with artificial intelligence, I mean, the good thing about it is that you auto-classify the objects. So you discriminate all those objects that are not interesting for you to detect, you discriminate them. So the rate of false alarms is very, very low. I will say we can guarantee almost 100% accuracy. You have multiple detection rules like intrusion, line crossing, prowling, abandoned object, and so on. And this will be the key advantage, which is the accuracy. The disadvantage is that the detection range is not so long. So you need to deploy, depending on the size of the project, more cameras than, for example, with the Sentinel. Okay. So depending on how critical the area is, I would recommend to go with the perimeter lookout or to go with the Sentinel. Okay. If it's a very critical, I would recommend to go with perimeter lookout. If it's more of a perimeter and it's not so critical, I mean, I will go with the Sentinel. Both solutions are compatible, can work with any IP camera. And then if in case that you work with the day and night cameras, always as long as you have an HD resolution should be enough. And this is integrated with all the main VMSs. We have Milestone, Genetec, Axis Camera Station, Pelco, Avigilon, FLIR, EDS, Cathesics, DG4. So Hitachi. So pretty much all the different solutions all the different VMSs are embedded. Okay, so here I'm going to show you a video how this with a So as you can see here, for example, we see a woman with a dog. The dog is being detected, but it's not triggered. It's not being classified. It's not triggered in the alarm. Just right here, we are just interested in vehicles and persons. So this is what we are when we are monitoring. marine. And then in case that we use the Sentinel, this is a more long-range detection. For example, on the middle image, you see that is very shaky due to the wind, but it's not generating alarms. Okay, and the upper right is very long range, very low contrast, and still we can detect it. And it's the same as the upper left. It is contrast is not so good, and still we can detect it. Now we're gonna excuse me. Now we're gonna move to the next solution, which is the Coast Guard. This is the marine surveillance. Here is this is a solution to detect small or large boats or floating objects. Okay, it can work with fixed or PTC cameras. It's very long range detection. I mean, minimum target size is 2 pixels. So that means that maybe at 20 feet, the boat, you may be able to detect that at 1.5 miles away. Has a low false alarms under, if the weather is very rough, I mean, we have very rough weather conditions, okay, with big waves and so on. It might be a little bit tricky simply because on the let's call it the head of the wave, when it's very windy, changes the color. There is a lot of foam, and then the thermal signature of the water changes. So sometimes, depending on the size of the wave, it may generate a little bit of trouble, let's call it. However, if the weather conditions are normal or good, I mean, the solution is very accurate and is very steady. It does not generate false alarms by the waves or by sun reflections. Also, we can do alarm GP. We can position the objects on with a GPS or UTM coordinates. Okay, so that means that we can also integrate it with the existing radar systems. So that blind area that the radar is not monitoring, what we can do is we can position small boats on the same map, so the operator can be able to manage not only the radar, the objects that the radar is detecting, but also the objects that the thermal camera is detecting. And can work with fixed or PTC cameras, as we said before, and is also integrated with all the main VMSs. Okay, here I'm going to show you a video. Let's move a little bit forward because this is a little bit too long. Okay, so here you can see that there is 3 boats. Okay, and then we are taking the GPS coordinates of each one of the boats, and then we send it to the PTC camera, so the PTC can do tracking of those objects that we are detecting. Okay, so and as you can see, all the objects are on the center of the image, and then depending how close they are, the zoom automatically adjusts. Okay, now we're gonna move to the safety solutions. The first solution that we would like to, excuse me, I'm a little bit cold today. So the first solution that I would like to talk to you is the 10 threshold. This is a solution to detect fire on industrial scenarios. So how this solution works, basically what we do is we generate kind of like an image background, and then all the objects that exceed the temperature threshold that we have set up the analytics for automatically will be spotted. That doesn't mean that we generate alarm. And then what we will do is we will analyze the behavior of that object that has exceeded the temperature threshold that we have set up for. What the meaning of behavior is, like, let me put 2 examples. For example, imagine that you are in a biomass plant and then you have like machinery moving around. The machinery might be at the same temperature that we have set up the analytics for, but the behavior is the temperature is very steady, and then the machinery is moving around the field of view of the camera. Okay, so that is one specific behavior. On the other side, in case that we are detecting a fire, the fire increases rapidly the temperature and also increases rapidly the size, but it stays fixed on a specific point. So that is the behavior. So we do kind of like a double analysis. For one side, what we do is we analyze the temperature, and on the other side, we also analyze the behavior. So if once the behavior matches what we have set up the analytics for, that is when we trigger the alarm. Okay. So this is good. I mean, on the port scenarios, we use this solution on the serial terminal. Serial is very flammable and is very dangerous because there is a lot of dust on suspension sometimes, and then it can catch on fire very easy. So it's very important that to monitor that those warehouses or those places where the serials are being downloaded. Okay. Also, we use this for biomass plants, dump plants, recycling chemical, and oil and gas. Okay. Another one of the solutions is this solution can work with fixed or PTC cameras. Okay. This has the heat emission and distance configuration. This is very important because depending how far or how close you're detecting, I mean, the energy dissipates with the space. So the farther the object is, the less accurate the temperature reading is. So what we do is, depending on how far we are detecting, what we do is we correct the temperature in a way that we can figure out, or we can know exactly at what temperature that object is. Okay. Also, we are recording these all the images we recording in raw format. So that means that you can work offline, and then you can figure out the temperature of all the objects that are on the field of view of the camera. You can do it offline. So you will recording with all the temperature metadata. Also, it's integrated with all the main VMSs. Also can support these digital and input and output models like Moxa or Adam. Okay. And then also you can what we call it Boolean logic functions. That is when we analyze the behavior. Okay, so here I'm going to show you a video how this is, for example, a paper manufacturing facility. This is with a PTC. So here is the fire. And you see why it's taking a little bit longer to detect. So basically what we do is, when we work with PTC cameras, each time that we move to a new position, what we do is we generate a background. And then once we generate the background, then we start analyzing the behavior. So that is the reason why it's taking a few seconds, 2 to 5 seconds, before we can detect it or before we can trigger the alarm. Okay. Another one of the solutions that is the power substation or transformer monitoring. Okay. Here, basically, this is a solution that what it does is monitoring all the key components on a substation. So whenever we see that one of these components is overheating, well, automatically what we do is we trigger the alarm, so we can anticipate to a major problem and then avoid to have like a massive failure on the substation that can bring much larger consequences. Okay. So what is the key benefit of this solution? Right now, most of the substations are being monitored by a maintenance crew. So basically what they do is they send this crew periodically to the facility, maybe once or twice a month, and they take manual measurements of all the key components. The problem is that these visits are not, they go probably once or twice a month or once a week, depending. And then the failure or the problem might show up the next day of the visit. Okay. So with this solution here, what we're doing is we are monitoring 24 hours, 7 days a week. And then what we do is we compare similar components with each other under the same atmospheric conditions and also under the same performance conditions. So we can know exactly which one of these components is overheating versus the other ones. And then whenever we detect it, we just trigger the alarm. So here we catch on real time the problem. And so we can anticipate, and then instead of incurring in unnecessary expenses We just send the maintenance crew whenever it's needed. And then also by anticipating or detecting this overheating, we can also save a lot of money on the spare parts, okay, on the repairing. As I said before, this solution can also work with fixed or PTC cameras, and then it is compatible with all the main VMSs available on the market, and then also can work with, in this case, we need radiometric cameras. So the cameras that right now that are integrated with this solution is Axis, the Q1961, and FLIR A400 or A700. This will be the two main cameras. Another solution is the personal protective equipment monitoring. So here, this is a solution that we use with artificial intelligence. And here, basically, what we do is we just make sure that all the employees, before they are accessing into the work area, they are wearing all the safety equipment, such as helmets, protective glass, protective gloves, protective boots, reflecting vest, ear protection, and so on. So how this solution works, we generate kind of like a model, let's call it, we scan the objects that we're supposed to detect. And then when that person is accessing into the facility, we just scan that person. And then in case that he's wearing the right equipment, we will allow him to come in. But also, besides monitoring the employees on the entrance, also what we can do is we can monitor on the work area. So we can deploy cameras on the work area. And then in case that one of the employees or one of the workers removes the helmet or removes the reflecting vest or the gloves and so on, we can detect it, and then also we can trigger an alarm, okay? And then also what we can do is we can do people tracking. So in case that there is an incident, we can know exactly what people were close to the area where the accident happened, and then see where is the last position. So in case that we need to evacuate them, we know exactly what was the last situation, the last position. Okay, so basically this will be all the different solutions that we can offer you for the port. Here I would like to share with you some success cases that we have achieved on the past on the law and defense enforcement, on the defense and law enforcement, sorry. We have worked with the FBI. We have deployed the VMS with artificial intelligence. On the NATO headquarters in Brussels, we have the access control. Rota military base, which is a base with is a base in Spain, which is a US and Spanish military base. Here, what we're doing is we do all the perimeter surveillance and marine surveillance. And then also we are responsible for all the Air Force and all the Air Force bases in Spain. And also in Saudi Arabia, currently we are doing a King Faisal Air Academy and King Faisal Air Base. So this is one of the top projects right now in Saudi Arabia. So we're doing all the perimeter surveillance for them. On the oil and gas, our solution embedded into Axis camera is the recommended by Saudi Aramco. So all the projects that go with this combination go with our solution. Also with Cepsa, which is the largest oil company here in Spain, we do all the perimeter surveillance of all their facilities and also marine surveillance. Critical infrastructures, for example, we do Valencia port, which is the largest port on the Mediterranean by container traffic. Port of Oporto, we also do it, the marine surveillance. Madrid International Airport, we do almost all the perimeter. Al Wahba Palace, which is in Qatar, we do also the perimeter surveillance. And then these are the different, I mean, we work, for example, with Etisalat on the Emirates, AT&T in United States, Hitachi in United States, Facebook also we work in the United States. And then this will be pretty much all the different success cases. Here have my contact details. So you have my mobile telephone number and my email address. So you can reach me at any time. And then in case that you need to request a demo, you can do it. You can either send me an email or you can do it through the website. Now, in case that you have any questions, you can open your microphone or you can use the chat. So I will be more than welcome to answer any questions or any doubts that you might have out of all the solutions that we were talking about. Anyone has a question? Also, as for the licenses, you can have subscription model, or you can have a perpetual license. Okay, so either one you can use. And then also the price of the license includes the setup, configuration, and fine-tuning, always remotely. In case that is a critical infrastructure, usually what we do is we train our local partner, and that is the person that help us to do the setup.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raf. That's Raf.
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, here we have Philippe is asking for, we have local partners. I mean, we have distribution agreements with Anixter, with ADI Global, with Ingram Micro. And then usually, depending on the projects, I mean, we also have like system integrators that have done projects for us. So usually we use them. Okay, well, in case that there is no questions, on the upcoming days, what we will do is we will be sending a copy of the presentation, and then also we will be sending a link to the video so you can review or you can share with any person that you think might be interested in. And then in case that you need anything, please feel free. Here my contact details. Please feel free to contact me, and I will be happy to answer or to respond to all your queries. Okay, well, if there is no questions, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. I hope you find interesting all the different solutions that we introduced you. Okay, so let's keep in touch, and then thank you very much once again. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.